what I want to do is give you 3 easy steps that you can implement today to make it look like you're $100 million solar company. All right guys, welcome back to another video on the channel. My name is Ivan and I'm the founder and head of growth here at Maximize Solar. We help EPCs and sales orgs scale through online advertising and improving their sales process. Why would you want to look like a $100 million company? Because the reason why people buy from you is because they like you, they trust the company, and they trust that you're gonna be around. So the biggest obstacle from them not being a customer to turning them into a customer is trust. And making you look like a $100 million company or a big company is gonna take care of that trust factor for you. Now, first one is you gotta make sure that you have a good name. Even if you're a solar sales org, you gotta make it sound big. You gotta make it sound like you do business in a lot of states, so that's not your only state right there. You have a lot of employees, right? So you gotta pay attention to what the name can actually do for you and utilize it well. What do I mean by that? If you're a sales org, you're most likely gonna have an EPC, so you can use their name too, but if you don't want to use their name, what you can do is just create your own name, and it's not that complicated, all right? Just choose a name and go with it. Something like American Energy Group or Green Energy United American Clean Energy Association, or something that looks and sounds bigger than it actually is. So the name is super important. Number 2, what you want to do is you got to make sure that you have a call center or appointment setters. In big companies, there's a lot of people with different positions. And so you create an entire customer experience. And that's what the main differentiation factor between a small company and a large company, right? It's the customer experience. And what's gonna make them feel like they're dealing with a bigger company is the customer experience that you're gonna create for them. Doesn't matter if you're doing it over the phone, doesn't matter if you're doing it virtually, it does not matter how you sell. So you gotta make sure you have an appointment setter that establishes a relationship and you can actually utilize in your favor, that represents your company. One of the things that we started utilizing last year is actually having an actual call center. Now our clients can use our call center to have their leads being called, and chased and booked for an appointment by our call center. You gotta make sure that a call center does not sound Indian or not have a good English, because that's gonna do the opposite of what you're trying to do, which is create trust within the entire sales experience. So you gotta make sure that there's someone who can speak very, very, very good English. Our appointment setters, for example, they're native. You can sound like a lot bigger of a company than you actually are by having appointment setters who know how to handle the call and know how to build a relationship and prepare them for what's to come, which is obviously the proposals and obviously the actual sale itself, the presentation. So you gotta have an appointment setter. And number 3 is, and that's optional, I would have it if I was you, you wanna have a contract specialist. And I've talked about that in other videos, but we need to be reminded sometimes more than we need to be taught, right? So contract specialist. So you gotta have a contract specialist, or you don't have to, but it's optional and it's gonna make you look a lot bigger than you actually are. So imagine if they have a customer experience that they meet with one guy, and then that guy builds a relationship, gets their bill, and passes it on for the next individual in line, which is the energy specialist or the closer, okay? Oh, I forgot to say our call center would actually collect the bill for them as well, for our clients. So, and that's pretty important too. You gotta make sure that, again, one of the things in the sales process, in the customer experience, is you gotta make sure that you collect the bill beforehand. So instead of a 2 call close or 2 meeting close, you can turn it into, most of the time, into a 1 meeting close. That's why you want to collect the bill beforehand. It's not going to happen 10 out of 10 times, but it's good to always push for the bill before the actual presentation with the energy specialist. And number 3, obviously, is the contract specialist. So the contract specialist, what they would do is, once you run their credit, they got to sign the loan docs and the installation agreements for it to be considered a sale a closed deal. Let's go through the entire process again. So you have the appointment specialist, you got the closer, and then you got the contract specialist. So the appointment specialist will obviously open up that conversation, create the relationship, collect the bill, and then the closer is gonna do obviously their magic, close the deal, explain how the program works, right? Run credit and have everything else sent out to the customer, right? The install agreements and the loan docs. And then the contract specialist is gonna take care of that for the closer. The closer is not gonna spend time with the customer as they're reading the HOA agreement, the install docs, and the loan docs. And the biggest mistake you can possibly do is close the deal, send the docs, and then beat it. That's the worst possible thing you can do, and that's gonna cost, if you're doing that right now, or if you're thinking about doing it, I'm telling you, stop, because if you haven't realized already, it's gonna cost you sales. You wanna be as efficient as possible, and so if you don't have a contract specialist, that is fine. You just need to make sure that you stay on the phone with the customer as they're filling out the loan docs and the install agreements, because they might have questions. In fact, it's not a possibility. They will definitely have questions. And sometimes some people are gonna be comfortable asking questions, and some people are gonna be like, well, you know what? I don't understand what this is about. I was led to believe that it's something else. And now, what the hell is this that I'm reading? And so you don't wanna have the customer in a position that they cannot ask questions. You gotta make sure that there's someone there, whether the closer or the contract specialist, to answer their questions if they have any questions, to ensure that that does not cost you a sale. So the contract specialist is basically the last part of the process, which is just going over all the docs and making sure that they don't have any questions, and if they do, they get it answered on the spot, okay? So that's gonna conclude the video. Pretty simple. I mean, if you utilize these 3 steps, man, I guarantee you're gonna look a lot bigger than you actually are, okay? And people like to do business with big companies simply because of the fact that big companies, for the most part, are here to stay, and small companies, it's very uncertain with them. So anyway, I hope you liked the video. If you did, give it a massive thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Also, if you want to grow your business, and if you're a solar sales rep, if you are an EPC or a sales org, right, it doesn't matter. We can help you through online advertising and improving your sales processes. So I hope you liked this video. Again, if you did, give it a massive thumbs up, and I'll see you again on the next video. Take care.